What should be the strategy for CAT preparation if you are a fresher? That is what we are going to look in detail in this video. Right? Follow the three-step process. It is absolutely everything. We will share links for more detailed explanation in the description as well. But definitely follow this. It really helps. So you learn. It is very simple. You learn, you practice a lot, and then you take marks. Thereby, as an extension, fix your errors from the marks. Either you might have to go back to your basics, or you might have to go back to your practice and practice a lot, depending on what type of error you get. But three-step process is very, very, very vital. You cannot skip that. This is the basis of how do I prepare for CAT per se. That being said, if I'm a fresher, if I'm in college, how should I go about preparing for this exam? Right? I'll first tell you what is the definition of fresher in my point of view. It is, if you are still in college, you can be called as a fresher. If COVID has happened, your results are not out and all of that, then maybe I'll consider you as a fresher. If you are someone who has finished his college in, let's say, July 2020 or in June, July of 2021, which means by the time you enter a B school, you are taking CAT 2021 and entering a B school in May, June 2022, I don't think you should be called as a fresher, because you can possibly have about 12 months of work experience, maybe on an average an 8 months of work experience, at least 3-4 months of work which means if you are out of college and joining your B school 2 months after getting out of your undergraduation, that is what essentially in an ideal world I would love to call as being a fresher. Right? Let us see how should you go about this. Right? Learn everything from first principle. It matters a lot. What do I mean by that? CAT has started giving you questions mixing different topics together, which means your understanding is of the utmost importance. Nothing else is. Practice is important. Completely agreed, on board with you. But all that being said and done, if your understanding lacks something, then whatever amount of practice you can bring to the table does not really matter if you can't understand what the question is about, or how do you decipher the question, right? So understand really well the topics, start everything from absolute basics, learn everything from first principles, unlearn whatever you remember, and then start everything from scratch. It really helps. At this juncture where a structured course might really help you, because you don't know where to start, how to proceed and all of that, do check out IIMs online course. We have about 40 hours of content absolutely free, and it is completely structured, a backbone built on a wonderfully created learning management system. You should check it out. The link will again be available in the description. Please check that out. Don't take your eyes off your semester exams. They are important. They are very, very, very important. If possible, increase your CGPA. If not, at least maintain the CGPA that you have. You cannot by any standard say, hey, I focused a lot on CAT preparation and thereby my CGPA went down from being 7.9 to 7.4. That is not acceptable at all, because throughout your career, at least until you finish your MBA, your UG scores will matter in most steps. If you are someone who is really unfortunate, who does not have a great CGPA to begin with, then you can't do much about it now. But if you are someone who already has a 8 or a 7.5 or a 6.9, don't let it go down from now. Especially with point in case being, hey, I had my CAT preparation, so I could not focus on this. Definitely not worth it. So focus on your semesters like it's nobody's business. It is very important to focus on your semester exams. Right now, if you are starting your preparation from February, you know you have about 7, 8 months, 9 months thereabouts. Right? You know about 1 month here, 1 month there is going to go towards your semester exams, which means those times you'll have projects, reports, record notebooks, all of the submissions, all of this, you know, and you will have to prepare for your final exams, semester exams, all of that. Right? You know these are about 1.5 months maximum, which you cannot devote to CAT prep. Take that into account today. Don't act surprised when that happens, because you know your semester exam is going to happen. twice from now until this November, which means you have to take into account that today and make your plans accordingly. Let's say, for example, I say you have to do 500 hours of preparation and 500 hours of reading from now until the exam to get a fantastic score, right? To be eligible to get a fantastic score. Which means you can't say, I have 9 months, I'll divide the 1000 by 9 months and then see how many hours should I spend. You should divide it by 7 months, because 2 months goes away in terms of your semester exams. So you cannot account for those 2 months today. So don't do that mistake. Drop year is absolutely not worth it. Do not drop at any cost unless you have some really serious health issue or really serious family issue, something like that. They might look at you kindly, they might choose not to. Drop year is absolutely not worth it, especially preparing for CAT. We have been mentioning this time and again. I will want to take some more time and mention it once again very clearly. Dropping a year means putting everything else on hold and writing this already intense high pressure exam, right? Which means you are pitching everything on this one basket. There's a saying that says spread your risks. Right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That is exactly what you're doing. Which means you're saying, I won't care about everything else in the world. I want to make sure I get into a B school this year, thereby increasing pressure onto an already pressurized system. Which means we are all humans. We all buckle under pressure, which leads to many a times you not being able to perform to your best abilities in CAT because you are too worried about what happens. If this CAT does not go well, where am I headed? What am I going to do? How am I going to answer my parents? All of these questions might come into play, especially during the exam time. So you don't need that pressure. Take up a job. It need not be a fantastic Goldman Sachs front-end investment banking job. It can be any job. Any job is better than no job. Take up a job. So I know thousands of students ping me on an everyday basis and then ask me, hey, I am taking a drop year. How do I make this up? You cannot make up for a drop year. That is the honest, hard and fast truth, right? We can agree to disagree, but that is the truth. You cannot say, hey, I'll do this certification, I'll do that, I'll do this and that, and then one thing more and make up for the drop. Nothing can make up for a drop. A drop is a drop year. It is going to be viewed negatively, at least not in a positive light, by your interviewers, by your recruiters for summer internship, by your recruiters for final internship as well. There are rare cases where somebody took a complete break and nailed the exam really well and then studying in IIM Kozhikode, IIM Indore, IIM Ahmedabad. Those are what you call it as a survivorship bias. You hear the stories of survivors. You don't hear the stories of people who drowned. So remember that a drop year is not worth it. Have a career path on its own. Few days ago, I had one of my students sending us an email saying, hey, I decided to hang my boots on the idea of doing an MBA. I prepared with 2IIM. It was fantastic preparing with you. But all that being said and done, I think MBA is not the way for me, right? That realization can happen to you 2 years later, 3 years later. So at that point of time, you should not be in a place where you think, hey, I spoiled my entire life pitching on this one idea. Now, if this idea is bust, who am I? Don't let that define who you are. Make sure you have a career plan of its own and a possible jump from here to somewhere else based on your MBA, based on your CAT, based on your XAT. So remember that very clearly. A drop year is absolutely not worth it. Don't take up a drop year. It matters a lot. Learn in a silo. Groupthink is not for everybody. Some people enjoy learning in groups, but for most of us, people, especially if you are not your IIT JEE triple digit ranker or 4-digit ranker and top of your A game guy, if you are what I would call slightly average or slightly above average, learning in a silo helps a lot. Sit in a place, plug in your headphones. Don't worry about what else is going on around you and learn in an island, learn in a silo. Practicing healthy competition, all of that helps. Not when you're learning. All of these come into play after 6 months of putting in the grind, learning and practicing, and then you can go out and compete. Why am I saying this? Because if you start your competition today, very high chances that you can be overwhelmed very easily. And if you are overwhelmed, you are going to throw in the towel very easily, right? I used a book to solve math questions before joining a coaching class, and then I threw in the towel in less than 2 months because I just could not progress. Every question felt demotivating. Every question felt like a slap on my face. So don't put yourself in that position knowingly. Prepare in a silo. That is once again where a fabulous course made on a learning management system, which has one-to-many interaction, where you go there, you sit, you learn without interaction from everybody else, and you learn everything in your peaceful setting whenever you can. That matters. In your own pace, that also matters. So learn really well. Use a structured course. It matters. Have a structured plan, but not too idealistic. Very similar to this is, how would you call it, as don't penalize yourself too much if you are not sticking to the plan. Don't make hard micro plans. It does not work. It really does not work. It will again lead to demotivating you, like how the group think. So don't let yourself be demotivated by yourself. So think of it as, hey, I'll have a weekly plan. I will want to finish 4 topics in this week. And that is a reasonable plan. If you say, I want to finish 7.5 topics in a week, then it's a overly ambitious plan, right? So don't go there. Stick to slightly less ambitious, but keep doing that. It will give you enough value if you are persistent, if you keep doing that, right? So set a plan, and then let's say in a span of 1 week, you are able to do 3.5 lessons out of 4.5 that you have planned. Give a pat on your back by yourself and feel happy that you finished 3.5, and make sure next week you are not going to slip on your schedule, right? Don't be harsh on yourself. It is just not worth your while. Find a sense of joy in CAT preparation. It really matters. It changes your perception completely as to how do you approach this exam. And I can tell you hand on heart, people who have found that joy came out doing really well in life. Forget about CAT or an MBA, right? Finding the joy is uber crucial, and it is important to find joy in anything you do. Cheers, guys. Best wishes for CAT preparation.